The world is not owned by the people who make the laws. It is owned by the people who make the pipes. We live in a web of invisible plumbing. Every time you send a message, every time you buy a coffee, every time you slay a dragon in a virtual world, you are feeding a beast you cannot see. We call it Tencent, but to the world it is a ghost. It is a shadow. It is a digital octopus with tentacles wrapped around the throat of the global economy. Think about your phone. It is a pocket-sized tracking device. Now imagine if one company owned the tracking, the talking, the paying, and the playing. One company, one login, one god. In the West, we have the illusion of choice. We bounce between Google, Meta, and Amazon. In the East, there is only the green icon. WeChat. It is not an app. It is an operating system for life. It is the air people breathe. Without it, you are a ghost in your own city. You cannot catch a train. You cannot buy a loaf of bread. You cannot exist. Tencent is the largest gaming company on the planet. Forget Nintendo. Forget Electronic Arts. Tencent owns the code. They own Riot Games. They own League of Legends. They own pieces of Epic, Ubisoft, and Activision. When you play, they watch. When you win, they profit. They are the silent partner in every digital interaction. They are the house, and the house always wins. They are a trillion-dollar empire built on a foundation of zeros and ones, managed by a man who prefers to remain invisible. Pony Ma, the quiet hacker who became a king. He didn't build a product, he built a trap. A beautiful, convenient, inescapable trap. We are all living in Tencent's world now. We just haven't received the bill yet. We like to believe in the myth of the lone genius, the garage startup, the revolutionary idea. But the truth is often uglier. The truth is a mirror. Tencent didn't start with a spark of divine inspiration. It started with a photocopy. In 1998, the internet was a frontier of theft. In a cramped office in Shenzhen, under the rhythmic pulse of a disco ball, 5 men sat around a desk. They had $60,000 and a singular mission: copy what works. They looked at Israel. They saw ICQ, the world's first instant messenger. They didn't try to beat it. They just cloned it. They called it OICQ. They added an O and subtracted the originality. This is the great paradox of the Chinese miracle. We call it copycatting. They call it localization. While the West was building for high-speed fiber optics, Tencent was building for the mud. They built for the dial-up era. They made file sizes tiny. They made the software lean. They made it work where nothing else would. But success is a double-edged sword. By 1999, they had 1 million users and $0. They were dying of their own popularity. Server costs were a guillotine hanging over their necks. They tried to sell the company for a few $1,000s. No one wanted it. Imagine that. The future of global commerce was on the discount rack, and the world walked right past it. Pony Ma stood before investors and told them the truth. We might die tomorrow. That honesty bought them a lifeline, a $2 million injection that turned a clone into a contender. They survived the dot-com crash by weeks, just weeks. If a bank had closed a door a day earlier, the digital history of the 21st century would look entirely different. They pivoted. They evolved. They stopped being a messenger and started being a mirror. They saw a Korean service called Cyworld where people bought virtual clothes for avatars. The West laughed. Who would pay real money for fake clothes? Tencent didn't laugh. They built QQ Show. They sold pixels for pennies. And those pennies turned into a mountain of gold. They realized a fundamental truth about human nature. We are vain. We want to be seen, even if the us being seen is just a cartoon on a screen. The paradox was complete. By copying everything, they became something the world had never seen before. To understand the monster, you have to understand the soil. 1998 Shenzhen, a city that didn't exist 20 years prior. A fever dream of concrete and copper. This was the Wild East. A place where street vendors sold knockoff Rolexes and pirated Windows discs under the same neon signs. This was the nursery for Tencent. It was a culture of Shanghai, the art of the counterfeit. Pony Ma was a hacker, not a visionary but a tinkerer. He sold stock-predicting software when he was 22. He was quiet. He was introverted. He was the penguin dad. He even met his wife on his own messaging service, pretending to be a regular user to keep people engaged. He was the ghost in his own machine. While Microsoft was busy being a bureaucracy, Tencent was a street fighter. When MSN Messenger tried to enter China, it was a tank trying to fight a swarm of bees. MSN was slow. It was heavy. It required a Hotmail account. Tencent's QQ was fast. It lived on local servers. It let you message people you didn't know. It understood the loneliness of the Chinese migrant worker. It offered a digital home to a generation that had left their physical homes behind. In 2004, they went public. They raised $180 million. At the time, it seemed like a lot. Today, it's a rounding error. They used that money to buy the world. They didn't just grow, they metastasized. They bought into gaming. They bought into music. They bought into movies. They became the silent shareholder in your favorite hobbies. Every time you see the Tencent Pictures logo before a Hollywood blockbuster, you are seeing the result of a 30-year-long game. They didn't need to conquer the West with soldiers. They did it with equity. They didn't need to change your mind. They just needed to own the platform where you change it yourself. How does it work? Imagine a clock with 1 billion gears. At the center of the clock is WeChat. Launched in 2011, WeChat was the moment the caterpillar became the butterfly. It stopped being an app and became an environment. It is a mechanical masterpiece of integration. Think of the mini-programs. These are apps inside the app. You don't download a separate app for a taxi. You use the taxi gear inside the WeChat clock. You don't download a banking app. You use the wallet gear. This is the everything app model. It creates a closed loop. Data goes in, but it never comes out. It is a digital black hole with a friendly interface. The mechanism of Tencent is the ecosystem lock-in. It is a velvet prison. It is so convenient that you forget you are trapped. WeChat Pay handles 1 billion transactions a day. That is more than Visa, more than MasterCard. It is a private mint. It is a private bank. It is a private ledger of every human desire in the world's most populous nation. And then there is the gaming engine. Tencent is the world's largest arcade. They don't just make games. They buy the engines the games run on. They own 40% of Epic Games, the makers of Fortnite and the Unreal Engine. If you are a game developer today, you are likely paying rent to Tencent. They are the digital landlords of the metaverse. They provide the tools, they provide the platform, and they take their cut. It is a perfect machine. It feeds on data. It breathes capital. It grows by absorbing its rivals. When a competitor emerges, Tencent doesn't fight them. They buy them. Or they build a clone and use their billion-user reach to crush them. It is not competition. It is a harvest. But every empire has a shadow, and the shadow of Tencent is cast by the state. In China, there is no such thing as a private company. Not really. There are only companies that the Communist Party hasn't decided to eat yet. Tencent has thousands of CCP members on its payroll. It has party cells in its executive offices. The Everything app is also the everywhere surveillance. Amnesty International gave Tencent a 0 out of 100 for privacy. Why? Because the pipes have ears. Every message you send on WeChat is scanned. Every photo is analyzed. If you mention the wrong date, the wrong name, or the wrong event, the machine flags you. People have gone to jail for jokes told in private chats. The machine doesn't care about your privacy. It cares about the harmony of the state. During the pandemic, the machine became a leash. The health code system lived inside WeChat. Green meant you could walk. Red meant you were a prisoner in your own home. This is the dark conclusion of the digital age. Convenience is the currency we use to buy our own chains. We gave up our privacy for the ability to pay for a coffee with a QR code. We gave up our anonymity for the ability to play a video game with friends across the ocean. Tencent is now facing its own reckoning. The Chinese government has realized that the octopus has grown too large. They are clipping its tentacles. They are issuing fines. They are limiting gaming time for children to 90 minutes a day, enforced by facial recognition. The creator is being tamed by the master, but the model remains. The Everything app is the blueprint for the future of the West. Elon Musk wants it. Zuckerberg wants it. They all want the green icon. They all want to be the pipe. We are moving toward a world where your digital identity is your only identity. A world where a single company knows your bank balance, your blood type, your political leanings, and your high score. Tencent is the pioneer of this new reality. They are the secret company that owns everything because they own the space where everything happens. We are the data points. We are the fuel. And the machine is just getting started. The penguin is watching, and he never blinks. The fragility of this system is its greatest secret. It relies on trust, yet it is built on surveillance. It relies on innovation, yet it started with theft. It is a colossus with feet of clay, standing in a rising tide of geopolitical tension. If the pipes break, the world goes dark. If the octopus squeezes too hard, the prey dies. We are all entangled in the mesh. There is no log out button for the global economy. There is only the next transaction, the next message, the next game. Tencent isn't just a company. It's the ghost in the machine of the 21st century, and the machine is hungry. It is always hungry. We look at the logo, a friendly penguin. We look at the interface, clean, white, and simple. But behind the glass, there is a labyrinth of power that spans continents. From the server farms of Shenzhen to the boardrooms of Hollywood, the influence is absolute. It is a silent takeover. No shots fired. No borders crossed. Just a billion clicks, a billion times a day. This is how the world ends, not with a bang, but with a ping on your lock screen. You have a new notification. Tencent wants to know where you are. Tencent wants to know what you're thinking. And most of all, Tencent wants to know how you're going to pay. The secret is out. The company owns everything, and everything includes you. We are the architects of our own digital enclosure. We built the walls with our own data. We painted the bars with our own preferences, and we handed the keys to a man who says nothing. Pony Ma sits in his seafront tower, watching the data flow like a river of liquid gold. He doesn't need to speak. The machine speaks for him. It speaks in the language of algorithms. It speaks in the logic of the monopoly. It is a grand, dark experiment in human control disguised as a social network. As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the disco ball in that tiny Shenzhen office is long gone, but the rhythm remains. The pulse of the copycat turned king, the heartbeat of the digital sovereign. We are all part of the empire now, whether we like it or not. The penguin is waiting, don't keep him waiting. The next level is about to begin, and you've already spent your first coin. The game is rigged, the house is watching, and the house is Tencent. Welcome to the future. It's very convenient, it's very fast, and it's very, very permanent. The shadow of the octopus is long. It stretches across the Pacific into the heart of Silicon Valley, into the pockets of every gamer, every shopper, every dreamer. It is the invisible thread that connects the modern world. You can try to run, you can try to hide, but in the end you will have to pay. And when you do, Tencent will be there to process the transaction. Zeros and ones, pennies and pixels. Power and control. This is the story of the company that owns everything. This is the story of us. We are the content. We are the product. We are the empire. The end of the beginning is here. The penguin has landed, and he's not leaving. Every empire eventually falls, but the digital ones are different. They don't crumble, they just update. They patch their weaknesses. They rewrite their code. Tencent is rewriting the code of society itself. It is a social experiment on a planetary scale. A world without friction. A world without secrets. A world without exit. Look at your phone, it's glowing. That's not just a screen, it's a portal. And on the other side, the octopus is waiting. It's time to log in. It's time to pay. It's time to belong. Because in the world of Tencent, belonging is the only thing that matters. And the price of belonging, it's everything you have, everything you are, everything you will ever be. The transaction is complete. Thank you for using WeChat. Have a harmonious day.